Death is one of the few certainties in life, but how humanity chooses to honor the deceased varies dramatically. Throughout history, civilizations across the globe have developed funeral rites that may seem peculiar, even bizarre, to outsiders. Today, on Mysteries of Humanity, we'll explore some of the strangest funeral rituals that have been practiced in different cultures. Some of these rites reveal deep spiritual beliefs, while others leave us wondering, why did people choose such methods to bid farewell to their loved ones? From sky burials to self-mummification, let's dive into the strangest funeral rituals in history. Our first stop takes us to the vast and rugged terrain of Tibet, where a ritual known as the sky burial has been practiced for centuries. To many, this ritual might seem shocking, but for Tibetan Buddhists, it's deeply connected to their spiritual beliefs. In the Tibetan plateau, where the earth is too rocky for burials and the trees too scarce for cremations, another option had to be found, giving the body back to nature. The sky burial begins with a monk performing prayers for the deceased, after which the body is carefully dismembered and placed in an open area. It is then offered to vultures, considered sacred creatures in Tibetan culture. The practice isn't just about disposal. It symbolizes the impermanence of life and the belief that the physical body is just a vessel. By feeding the vultures, the deceased contributes to the circle of life one last time. To outsiders, this ritual might seem grotesque, but to Tibetans, it's a final, selfless act, one that ensures a soul's smooth transition into the next life. Next, we journey to Papua, Indonesia, where the Dani tribe follows a ritual that many would find unsettling: finger amputation. For the Dani, the death of a loved one is not just mourned emotionally, but also physically, particularly by the women of the tribe. In this funeral ritual, known as a kipulin, the women cut off a section of their finger to symbolize their grief and show their respect for the deceased. This act is meant to express deep sorrow and serve as a permanent reminder of the person who has passed. The belief is that the physical pain of amputation helps ease the emotional suffering caused by the loss. Though the practice has largely been outlawed today, it is still a haunting reminder of the extreme ways humans cope with death in different parts of the world. Our next ritual might be one of the most shocking of all: endocannibalism. Practiced by the Yanomami tribe in the Amazon, this ritual involves eating the ashes of the dead. But before you jump to conclusions, this is not an act of savagery, but rather one of deep spiritual significance. To the Yanomami, death is not final until the body has been consumed by the living. After cremation, the ashes of the deceased are mixed with fermented banana paste and eaten by the family members. This ritual is believed to allow the spirit of the deceased to live on within the tribe. It's an intimate and sacred act, ensuring that the bond between the living and the dead remains unbroken. While many cultures bury their dead in the ground or scatter their ashes, the Yanomami ensure that their loved ones are never truly gone. They live on within their very bodies. Imagine preparing your body for death in such a way that you would remain preserved for centuries to come. In Japan, this is exactly what a small sect of Buddhist monks did through a practice known as sokushinbutsu, or self-mummification. These monks, seeking to attain enlightenment, would undergo a process that lasted years. First, they would drastically reduce their food intake, consuming only nuts, seeds, and tree bark to slowly starve their bodies. Eventually, they would stop eating and drinking altogether, entombing themselves in a small, airtight chamber while still alive. After their death, the body would remain sealed for 3 years. If it didn't decay, the monk was declared a Buddha, and their body would be displayed as a revered object of worship. This grueling and intense ritual was believed to demonstrate ultimate spiritual purity, as these monks dedicated themselves to the process of death long before it arrived. To the outside world, it may seem like an unimaginable sacrifice, but for these monks, it was the ultimate path to enlightenment. In Madagascar, death isn't something that ends relationships. It's something to be celebrated, even years after the body has been laid to rest. The people of the Merina tribe practice famadahana, or the turning of the bones, a joyous celebration where families dig up their ancestors' remains and dance with them. During this ritual, the wrapped bodies are exhumed, sprayed with perfume, and re-wrapped in fresh cloth. The family then dances with the remains, often with laughter and celebration filling the air. This event can happen every 5 to 7 years, and it's seen as a time to honor the ancestors and keep their memory alive. To the Merina, death is not an ending, but a continuous journey. The Famadahana ceremony is a joyful reminder that their ancestors are never truly gone. They remain part of the family, even in death. Death is universal, yet how we choose to honor it varies greatly across the world. From feeding the body to vultures in Tibet to dancing with the dead in Madagascar, these rituals reveal the deep spiritual and cultural connections that humanity shares with death. Though these practices may seem strange or even unsettling to those unfamiliar with them, they all share a common thread: the desire to honor and remember those who have passed on, ensuring that they are never truly forgotten. Thank you for watching this episode of Mysteries of Humanity. If you enjoyed this journey through the world's most unusual funeral rituals, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And as always, keep seeking the mysteries that make our world so fascinating.